few months ago, I had the pleasure of welcoming President Obama to Redford Township. And if my parents were still alive, they would never believe that I met the president in 1 month and I'm about to introduce the governor just a few months later. It's really an honor and a privilege for me to be able to do that on behalf of the 8 Mile Boulevard Association and on your behalf as well. Rick Snyder ran for office with a pledge to reinvent Michigan. Since becoming Michigan's 48th governor on January 1st, 2011, Governor Snyder has done just that. He has implemented his trademark, I don't even know it, sorry, his trademark, relentless positive action. In doing that, he eliminated $1.5 billion in deficit and delivered balanced budgets for the second straight year. Snyder has worked with the legislature to bring greater simplicity to the state's tax structure, pay down Michigan's long-term obligations, and enact numerous other reforms that have made Michigan the nation's comeback state. This is Governor Snyder's first foray into politics. He earned 3 degrees from the University of Michigan, all by the age of 23. Snyder then worked as a tax accountant at Coopers & Lybrand. He joined Gateway and helped to expand it to a Fortune 500 company. Let's welcome Michigan's Governor, Rick Snyder.
There, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for that great welcome. And it's great to be with you. Actually, I found it enlightening and entertaining to have an opportunity to sit here for a few minutes and listen to the responses to all those good questions. I want to thank you for those last kind comments. I am a nerd. I use relentless positive action, and courageous was great. So you guys are...
Well, I saw you sitting there, Governor. I was going to say, you want some funding for something.
Yeah. But I appreciate it. One thing, though, I thought was interesting is they ask a lot of questions about a lot of other topics. They went through topics like emergency manager, education, insurance, a lot of the challenges we have in our state. And you heard a lot of different opinions. And I think the main message I would take out of that is we have a lot of serious issues we have to resolve in our state. And we're doing that. And the best way to do that is to give opportunities for people to express their views. We don't agree on everything, but we never should. Because that's part of having strength, is actually having a diversity of views, but doing it in a positive way, a constructive way, in a way we can all benefit and win together. So although you heard a lot of different answers, actually I appreciate it. I thought it was a very worthwhile experience to hear that because, again, we all have our roles and responsibilities, and how we manage to do that's very important. So I wanted to thank them for all your comments and thoughts on those things. It's about how we work together through a lot of tough things, but the point is we're getting the job done, and we are moving through those things. And the state of Michigan is the comeback state in the United States today. But we have a lot more work to do. We should be pleased with the improvement in reduction of unemployment. Personal income's going up. Homes are being sold again. People are staying in Michigan. People are coming to Michigan now. Those are all good things. But we still have more people that need a job. We still need to work hard on many different aspects. We have people in need. We need to bring our cities back. And that's about all of us working together. And we're going to get that job done. So I came here today to actually focus on 8 Mile Boulevard Association, the reason you're here. So I would like to share a few thoughts with you on that specific topic and the opportunities and the partnership we need to do, particularly along 8 Mile, because I think there are some great opportunities. And first of all, I want to start by congratulating all the people in the association. You've got some really cool stuff going. I mean, Gateway Marketplace, what a great opportunity. The State Fairgrounds, what another great opportunity. If you think about 10 years ago or so, how many people thought these things would really be in the process of opening soon or be in the process of being planned, developed, and potentially built? These are huge accomplishments. Those were things that were literally almost unbelievable just a few years ago. They're getting done now. But we can't stop, as I said. So there are 3 programs I want to share with you that I need your help with to partner on. Because this isn't about just hearing how things are going on. I don't believe in just talking. We need action. We need to continue action and accelerate action. So 3 programs I want to share. The first program is a statewide program we started a couple years ago that we've got a lot of good business people here. A lot of larger businesses, a lot of smaller businesses. But I doubt we have a lot of you signed up for this program. It's called Pure Michigan Business Connect. How many people in here in your organization are signed up for Pure Michigan Business Connect? Raise your hand. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. How many people are here? There are hundreds of people here. Got a handful. I'd have fingers left. What is Pure Michigan Business Connect? Well, let me give you a little quick background. We were way overusing tax credits in this state. Tax credits are dumb in the way we're using them. I call them the heroin drip of government. Really, because I think they were being overused and misused. And so we got rid of most of them. So when people think corporations got big tax breaks, we wiped almost every single one out and went to a new system of very targeted, specific dollar incentives in some cases. But then we created Pure Michigan Business Connect. You know what that program's about? Well, let me tell you how it's going. Since we started in 2011, it's about Michigan companies buying from other Michigan companies. And I want to thank DTE and consumers in particular. They are 2 of our kickoff lead participants. Over $1 billion of goods and services have been bought in Michigan that otherwise would not have been purchased here. Because those 2 entities, I'm just citing the results from those 2 entities, and it's more than $1 billion. They looked at their supply base and have increased their buying by at least that much money. Do you know how many jobs that equates to? It's probably more than 10,000 jobs in Michigan that have been created because of that additional buying. Now we've got the auto companies getting on board. Ford just held their first session. They had hundreds of people attend. They had over 600 people attend. They had 600 meetings on 300 different projects between them and Tier 1 suppliers. Just think of the opportunity of how much buying could happen then. And you know how much the government contributes to this? What we spend? None. We're the facilitator. Because our role it's not about spending money, it's about giving you great customer service. And the best thing we could do is get our customers to talk to one another. And we ask them not to do any special deals. They shouldn't take any big discount. They should just do good business. It works. Now, how many people are business people here that believe you should sign up now? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Because that's what we need to be doing. Because think about what you can do on 8 Mile. Because you could either be a buyer or seller. And how many new businesses could come along 8 Mile or those surrounding streets? By simply doing more business with one another. By doing more business with the utility companies, with the auto companies. And treating each other the right way. So one thing I'd ask you to come out of this is to sign up. That's easy. Get active, get involved. It's really cool. So that's the first program I want to share with you. The second program I'm going to share with you, I think is really important that, again, I think the Boulevard can play an important role. It's called Community Ventures. Because as I talked about us being the comeback state, we've got a lot of good things going. But part of it is not having people get left behind. Because in many cases, people that have the education, have the background, are the first ones to recover and can go off and do well. We don't want to forget about people that don't have that education, that may have not had that job before. So we created Community Ventures, which is to help the structurally unemployed, the people that may have never had a sustainable job, get that job and have that opportunity. We launched it just this last year through the MEDC. I put money in the budget, I gave them a mandate, I said, go create 1,000 jobs. They're making great progress. They've created over 400 jobs already. And they're proud of that. I ask where the other 500 are. Because we need to build programs like that. The mandate I gave them, though, was pretty simple. I said, these are not make-work jobs. These cannot be jobs that are working for government that say you're going to work for government for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. That doesn't cut it. The one criteria I gave them is I said they have to work for an enterprise where that enterprise makes at least $1 a year once it's up and running after startup phase. Because again, startup phase, you can have a challenge there. But the enterprise, and I said, I don't care if it's a not-for-profit or a for-profit. I just want them to make $1 a year because you know what that means? It's a sustainable job. It's a job that will stay and last. And then our role at the state to be a supporting resource is to help them get ramped up and going, and we're doing that. The second piece is now we can lay workforce development programs, talent programs on top of that so they can have an upward path of mobility. To give them those additional skills, once they show they can be good, hardworking people, they can get that next job, and that next job, and that next job, and someone can come take their spot at that first job. That's the kind of programs we need. And that's the kind of effort we should be seeing on both sides of 8 Mile Boulevard. So I'm encouraging you, asking you to think of opportunities where you might be able to join that program or help some company that has started with people in that program about how you might do more business with them to help them be successful. We're starting this pilot in Detroit, Flint, Pontiac, and Saginaw. So we are only doing it on one side of 8 Mile right now, but I don't know why it shouldn't cross to the other side as we grow and see it really work. That's the second program. The third program is something that is really important to me. Again, if you look at the areas you're in, we've started this next program on the Detroit side again because, again, we're putting a clear focus on Detroit, Flint, Pontiac, and Saginaw for piloting these programs because I believe that's the right answer. And it's something called Pathways to Potential. And what is Pathways to Potential? It's about focusing on the neighborhoods themselves and getting to better customer service and looking at the neighborhood school to say, what can we do in that school? And what caused me to think about this? Actually, we borrowed this idea from Grand Rapids. We should give Grand Rapids credit. They took this idea and created it through the Kent School Services Network. And our Department of Human Services saw it and said, let's bring it around the state. And it's really the concept of Customer Service 101. And why do I say that? That's what got me fired up on it, is because the role of government isn't to take and spend money, it's to give you, my customer, great customer service. And think about the system we had with caseworkers in human services. Typically, they sit in a government office and they say, every so often, we need to see our customers. They need to come visit us because we're giving them some service. They have to go find a bus or 2 buses or 3 buses or find out how to get a ride or somehow get to this government office so they can wait in line to be asked a bunch of questions about why they need help when we all know they need help. That's not customer service, that's dumb. So the point is, instead of staying in that government office, we should go to our customer. That's good customer service. So get out of the government office, get in the school, get in the neighborhood, and give real service where people can walk in and see you. So we've launched that program. We have caseworkers now in the schools piloting that work. But that's only the starting point. And that's why I want to look at 8 Mile and look at the schools on each side and say, what opportunities do we have to partner? Because the next steps we're talking about already is how do we put health clinic services in there to get them better service closer to the customer instead of going to the emergency room for reasons they may not even need an emergency room. How do we start doing workforce development programs, Michigan Works programs in those places? How do we get better counseling services? But I don't want to stop there. Because if you think about it, if you want a solid neighborhood, if you want a neighborhood to survive, flourish, and grow, the thing is we got to stop doing what we're doing is saying, let's close schools, let's scale back. We need to put more in those school buildings. We need them to be hubs of the neighborhood. We need them to be more active. How do they go 24/7 by having activity? And I appreciate the mayor's efforts in terms of talking about how do you put some of the rec programs in those buildings. Use those gyms and those other hours. But the point is, shouldn't we even be, and again, I just want to throw this out as a pilot idea, but this is the way I believe we should be looking at it. How do we even look at business opportunities to say, can there be a coffee shop there? Can the dry cleaner be there? Are there other things we can look in that building if there's space and it can be safely done? Shouldn't we be trying to pump as much as we can into the neighborhoods to make them more and more vibrant? You're on the front lines of that, right on 8 Mile. So I need you to sign up, to say, bring those ideas. If you think it can be done, talk to the people in the neighborhood. Talk to the people in the school. We'll figure out the legal stuff. Don't let the barriers get in your way. Come up with ideas that we can innovate with. That's cool stuff. So those are 3 programs I wanted to share with you to talk about. And this is real stuff. And I'll give you an illustration. Because I went to Flint this morning. And to be open with you, Flint's just as challenged as Detroit. But I was inspired this morning. I went to a place called St. Luke's New Enterprises. And new is Northeast Women. And I went to this building. It's an old Catholic school. It isn't a Catholic school anymore. And it was 2 sisters, 2 nuns, came up with an idea about putting people to work. Because they'd helped people their entire lives, but they said, we can create jobs here. So they came up with a business to make scrubs for hospitals and such. And they got the community to get behind them. Diplomat Pharmacy, that cool pharmacy company up there, they literally changed their dress code. So 500 of their employees can wear scrubs to work now. So they could buy scrubs. They've gone and talked to the hospitals about buying their scrubs from this place. And so they came to Community Ventures, that program I talked about, to be a Community Ventures participant. So here they're in an old school building, again, that concept of the school building in the neighborhood. They came to Community Ventures, and we backed them through Community Ventures with some resources. And I was there this morning to be part of an announcement to say, that St. Luke's New Enterprises, this old school building in this neighborhood in Flint, is going to hire 100 people by the end of next year. 100 women that are in need, that structurally hadn't really had a job before, that are going to have a job now. And we made it only better by saying, let's get them signed up for Pure Michigan Business Connect. That first program I talked to you about, to say, they got the Flint hospitals, they got the Flint community, why couldn't they be selling scrubs to DMC, to Henry Ford Hospital, to other places around the state of Michigan? So they might be able to have 200 people or 300 people. And the big part of that, it's not about the government taking a whole bunch of money and spending a whole bunch of money. It does require some money, but it's because we had 2 entrepreneurs. I think I may have embarrassed them a little bit. I said, I was truly inspired. 2 wonderful sisters, 2 nuns that had spent their life helping people that now are first-rate entrepreneurs. Awesome. You can't beat it, folks. That now had gone out to the private sector, got companies like Diplomat, the hospitals to participate, had gone out to the public sector, got the MEDC to help support it, and their first class was going through, the second class was getting started, heading towards those 100 jobs. There's no reason the 8 Mile Boulevard Association can't be that catalyst on both sides of 8 Mile to say, look at those schools, look for our entrepreneurs, look to our partnerships with the public sector, look to create those jobs, look to the future of Michigan. By seeing those people get that job, by seeing how those neighborhoods that you've seen go downhill in many respects for how many decades, not years, to say, now there's a hub there, there's a heart there, and there's a place that people can say, I can raise my kids here now. And you can see someone move into that neighborhood and say, I want to live here and have a good life. So congratulations for all the hard work you've done. But because of that hard work, I want to challenge every single one of you to come out of here fired up to say, you're going to sign up for Pure Michigan Business Connect? You're willing to help work on community ventures to say, how can we create that job opportunity to make something happen? And to see if I can get you signed up to say, talk to the school in your neighborhood to say, what else can we put in your building if you have space? How can we make it more active? How can we win together? And it's by having that attitude and spirit of saying, it's not about why we're different. It's not what we may disagree about. It's what we believe together in. By finding that ground and agreeing on that ground and doing it together, that is the reinvention of Michigan, and that's why we're going to be a great state again. Thank you so much.